Hey everybody, welcome. This is a Patreon requested book. Like I said, it's been a little lonely up there on the bookshelf. I was gonna start it after we finish the Divine Reality, but I can't really wait that long because I wanted to start it now. So this is by Hamza Yusuf, the dude who you guys constantly say, check this guy out. Okay, we're on page 3. Okay. These strong feelings should lead us to implore God to change our state, make our desires consonant with His pleasure, giving up our designs for God's designs. This is pure courtesy with respect to God. So giving up your designs and then staying on His. A requisite for spiritual purification. Interesting. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "None of you fully believes until his desires are in accordance with what I have brought." Exactly. Being aligned and at peace with the teachings of the Prophet, which embody the legacy of the prophetic teaching of Noah, Abraham, Moses, and Jesus, entails striving to free oneself of greed and refusing the ethic of doing something for an ulterior motive that is essentially selfish and dissonant with the teachings of God's prophets. Interesting. Yes, so freeing yourself of greed. A person should not seek anything from God's servants. If one wants anything, one should seek it from God, the sovereign of the heavens and the earth. The basic rule is to ask God and then work. That is, one should utilize the means, asab, that one must use in order to achieve something in this world. But utilize the means. You mean like your skill set? What does he mean? Imam Maulud then says that one should hasten to fulfill God's command and be weary of the subtle encroachment of bad manners. Oh, then someone would say, oh, that's a slippery slope fallacy. But then again, there's some truth to that, right? It creeps up. Faults that one is unaware of. A hadith states, one of you will say a word and give it no consideration, though it will drag the person who uttered it through hellfire for 70 years. Ugh. Oh, that's extreme, though. What kind of words, though? People often become so disconnected from prophetic teachings that they unwittingly inflict great harm upon themselves. It is comparable to a heedless person who finds himself in a diplomatic circles laden with protocol, yet he makes horrendous breaches of protocol without realizing it. That's a good example. When you're trying to be, an ambassador, you have to be diplomatic, right, to the customs of the area. With regard to God, the matter is obviously much more serious, as one's soul may be harmed by one's own breaches. In this case, the protocol involves knowledge of God and what He has enjoined and prescribed. Okay, knowledge of God and what He's enjoined and prescribed. Freedom and purification. Let's see. Imam Maulud speaks next about freedom, which is achieved when one realizes the qualities of shame and humility. So that's how you become free? When you are... yeah. Because it's like a... free from a delusion of ignorance. And empties oneself of their opposites, shamelessness and arrogance. So you're free from the bonds of shamelessness and arrogance, which do cloud your judgment, right? With these qualities come true freedom, wealth, and dignity, which require manumission from the bonds of one's whims. People may claim to be free, yet they cannot control themselves from gluttony in the presence of food, or from illicit sexual relations when the opportunity presents itself. The food point... Gluttony it's a rare thing to see now that I've actually seen, right? Because some people think that fat people are gluttons, but so many prescription pills now, they lower your metabolism and make you fat, right? And you can have some type of thyroid disorder. You can live in a food desert. There's a lot of things, so gluttony is ugly. But I have seen some chefs do it. And when I've seen it, it's disgusting. Okay, illicit sexual relations. Yeah, when the opportunity presents itself, if that person has a magnetism yeah, it could definitely be like, whew, wow. Are you free, right? Are you free of that temptation? Are you free from an arrogance thinking that, you know, you have no shame? Yes. Such a notion of freedom is devoid of substance. Freedom has a real meaning when, for example, a situation of temptation arises and one remains God fearing, steadfast, and in control of one's actions. I've had that one time. One time I really felt strong, like, no, I'm not doing that. Not doing it. This holds true even when the temptation produces flickers of desire in a person who nonetheless refrains from indulging. Exactly. You gotta work out of it. It's not an easy task, but it can be done. Probably more harder to do here because literally everyone's constantly half naked and constantly being sexual all the time, and sex on the TV and sex in the music. It's just even I even saw an ad. I was playing chess and an ad came up and it was a stupid phone game where a lady was pregnant and she walks in and catches her husband doing it with another woman. And it was like, how is this a game for a cell phone? You know what I mean? Even degeneracy in a spammy ad that you have to click out of it because like if you don't pay for the app, they inject ads. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like ridiculous. Imam al-Ghazali speaks at length about the desires of our limbs and organs and refers to the stomach and the genitals as being the two dominators. Stomach, I can get that way around sweets. Like a donut shop. I love donuts. When I was a kid, I liked candy a lot. If they are under control, other aspects of desire are kept in check. Whew, the genitals being under control is a very hard thing to do. Because every day people are trying to, lead you by it like a fish on a hook. They're trying to put a collar around you. It is very hard. The tongue is also a formidable obstacle. There are people, for example, who appear incapable of refraining backbiting and speaking ill of others. I work with some people who the amount of gossip they talk about all day. It's like, talk about something else, man. Don't you have a hobby? It's yes. And those are the people I clash with a lot. No wonder, man. And they often do so without realizing it. Yeah, exactly. It's like so unpleasant to hear just negativity, whining. Duh. It is common for people to dislike impoverishment or humility because they perceive them as abjectness. That's a fair point. Yet the Prophet, peace be upon him, chose poverty over wealth. He did not have money in his home. He did not have jewelry. He slept on the floor upon a bed made of leather that was stuffed with palm fibers. And he had 2 pillows in his room for guests. In much of today's culture, living this way would be considered extreme poverty. I live pretty minimalistic. Even dress pretty minimalistic, and people do see it as you are an idiot. They definitely would, unless you're wearing a monk's outfit, then they'd be like, oh, it makes sense, right? But people here look down upon that. Imam Maulud stresses that dignity with God comes to those who are humble before him, those who place prime value on how they are received by their maker, and not by how they will be judged by the ephemeral norms of people. That is something I've been striving to do, right? You have to break away from it. Especially, I think since I've gotten really involved with Islam, I've gotten much better at that. I really have. I had a manager who used to always make fun of my shoes and just the brands of clothes I'd wear. Because I just wear normal stuff, but he had nice Italian brands, right? And he had a Mercedes. So he would try to make me feel like, it's not normal for you to be Italian and not have nice Italian brands. And you're not a real Italian if you don't buy that and want to dress with Italian fashion. People think really dumb things, Instead, just being humble before the Creator, Yeah, that's a good point. It's very true. It's a good book. Okay, nice.